So, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us, we're going out of space because we're in the partnership of Mr. Johannes Legodi, which we fondly called Bakos, and Leanne de Toit from MM&I, our very generous host of the venue this evening. In that partnership, you literally had the digital queen, hence going out of space, married to the horse tamer, and they will tell their story with us this evening. So please put your hands together to welcome them. And sound.
He's better than I am. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is the privilege for me to introduce this partnership with a very appropriate photo, as you can see on the image right there. So if you really want to look closely, you will see that it's my shoes and my business partner next to me, Mr. Legodi's shoes, but we are actually each wearing one of the other one's shoes. So he struggled to get into my heels, but he did it. And it was one of the exercises we did, but it really, for me, is a strong metaphor of our partnership. It really is trying to walk in each other's shoes and having empathy for the other one's world and the other one's story. And that was a large part of what we experienced between our business partnership. So that, for me, is one of the best exhibitions of our partnership. So I would like to introduce my business partner, Mr. Bakosi Legodi.
Good evening, everybody. It says it doesn't matter how many business partners you have. What matters is how many best business partners you have. I'm Johannes Legodi, honored to introduce myself as the principal of Moretele Primary School, a vibrant school in Section O in Mamelodi. The school was named after the river Moretele. I'm very much glad to have this opportunity to share our journey with you.
My name is Leanne. I head up digital here at Momentum in these fine offices, and you've already met one of my very, very close colleagues, Puleng, who sang earlier, and I'm very excited to be part of this partnership. I think the first thing I want to start with is actually to ask my partner next to me is, why did you decide to join the program?
Thank you, Leanne. Once more, I got the opportunity to say I wanted to learn more, to learn the skill that I can use to transform my school, and to learn how can I inspire the community to value education.
For me, I'm very passionate about education, and also in this company, our vision and our purpose is all around financial wellness. And financial wellness is the best way to get there is through education. And I think this is the way Brian Pretorius, who was the previous sponsor of MMI, and also a good friend of Willem Gous, who's just spoken, got me into this, and I'm not sorry for 1 minute that he got me into this. It's very exciting. So getting into the next point, the first time I visited the school, I also met Madame Chetty. She's also here tonight. It's great to see her here. And I asked the question, which I'm going to ask Mr. Legodi to answer, which was, what are the biggest challenges your school faces?
As I'm committed to academic excellence, my school had the following challenges: poor maths results, lack of effective discipline, lack of resources, e.g. library and sports facilities, minimum parental involvement.
And listening to that, those were only a few. He summarized it. I realized there's only one way that I'm going to help solve all these challenges. And it really is through using my community. A lot was said about communities tonight. And one big thing for me, and one of the most humbling experiences, was to use the community of the Momentum staff members that I work closely with, and completely out of their own, having them help me in this process. So after we did our SWOT analysis with strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, I jumped in and asked who else can help. So those are a bunch of different emails that I sent to staff, and I spoke to people face to face, and I started to bring in my own community here in these offices from Momentum. So the first one is actually Puleng, who you now have all met with a beautiful voice. He's actually an analytics, one of our analytics specialists in Momentum, and he made himself completely out of his own time willing to help with maths, which was one of the biggest challenges of the school.
On the 2nd of September 2017, my brother Puleng was there at my school to give the awards to the top 10 learners in mathematics. They received a token of appreciation, the stationery, and also the certificates.
The second initiative was also linked to the grade R graduation, which we sponsored the certificates as well as the photos.
As you can see from the slides, it says time and tides waits for no man. It was my turn to welcome the parents of Moretele Primary to be the witnesses when the grade R learners are graduating.
And the next partner I'd like to mention is one of our good staff members, Themba. Maybe you can just stand up while I talk about what you did. He's one of our digital marketing specialists. And I just remember the first day he said he's willing to participate. He's all about sport. He's actually a very, very good sportsman himself. And he spoke about how you can actually develop the most amazing leadership capabilities through sport. And he also committed a lot of his time. He brought some of his friends and colleagues from Momentum to help, and they brought equipment, and he's been helping with the coaching in the afternoons.
Since I've alluded that we had a challenge of resources. Coming to sports, my brother Themba was always there for the school. He offered the school sports equipments. On Wednesday in the afternoon, he just arrived at my school to coach those learners. Soccer, netball, and cricket.
So I'm going to speed up a bit here, but there was lots of other people. Luanda helped a lot with the library, and she's still willing to commit because there was a lot of work to be done to improve with the library. And then we also have recycling. There's a lot of plastic here at MMI, and we're giving it all through to help with the fundraising on the side of Moretele.
Yes, I've told you the challenge that we have about the library. Yolanda was there for the school. Although the reorganized of the library is not yet finished, we're still waiting for Yolanda to go on.
Sorry, I missed her. Let me just go back there. And then I think another one for us is around what we did with the wellness room. We have Tracy that did a lot of work on the wellness room, and she brought there wasn't even a bed if a child was sick. And we converted, we don't want to call it a sick room, we're calling it a wellness room. And she's also still continuing with that, making sure that the room and all the equipment and everything else is there. She already brought 2 of her own beds. And then Glenda and Lynette have also helped on their side, specifically furniture that we have that we no longer use in the company that we sponsored to the school.
Those who want to come and witness the wellness room at my school, you are invited.
So last but not least, what we also did was very much around leadership and the team building that we did with a team that my partner next to me is very passionate about, is team building and leadership. And they did a team building with Marichen with the help of horses.
Yes, this one, it was wonderful. Almost a mark of 99% of my staff attended this workshop. You know, we learned a lot about communication. We learned a lot about instruction. we learned a lot how one can develop a trust. And then we know that everything that we do, we are working as a team. And then we learn also to embrace change.
So there's so many benefits of the program, but I think maybe just to start off with asking Mr. Legodi, what did you actually learn from the program about yourself?
Yes, what did I learn about this program, PFP? We stand for Partners for Possibility. I learned a lot all about listening skill. Don't interrupt when a thinker is presenting. Secondly, I've learned to be able to evaluate the situation and respond positively. And I'm also learned to consult as a consultant, to make a contract with a client so that you can give that client that opportunity to raise his or her concern.
I think also what we learned about each other is very valuable. So I learned so much about humbleness and servant leadership from my partner next to me and how he had so much limited resources and he could do so much with it. So Mr. Legodi, maybe what did you learn from me?
It's a pleasure to announce to this audience to say, Leanne, you were always there for me. She's very much passionate, willing to support and share ideas, and taught me how to lead with humanity and how to network.
So just in conclusion, I think we've all learned so much asking the right questions and working with the community. And I want to echo what my colleagues have said. If I look at these faces here in front of me, one of the things I learned the most was actually from all of you, and that we as a community are so strong and so powerful as a team together. So I hope that this is not a partnership that ends tonight, not just with Mr. Legodi, but with all of you here tonight. It's been an amazing journey, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you very much. Thank you.